Peace and love, family. Yeah, this is going to be a brief presentation by your brother Tahaka Bay. Yeah, this is going to be a brief presentation by your brother Tahaka Bay. Let me get my share on. Real quick. Peace and love, family. I need y'all to share this for me real quick. I ain't going to be here long. Any questions? Drop them. Any questions, you welcome to drop them. It is what it is. That's right. Before we get started. Yeah. Peace and love, family. I'm about to share this right quick. Mullins Bay. Let me leave Mullins Bay alone. Leave Mullins Bay alone, man. All right, we're going to share this right now. Let's get this out of here. Welcome, family, to the Moorish Science Temple of America, styled as the Noble Temples. And tonight, on this very stage, we're going to be looking into the oral statements. Now, and looking into these oral statements, I don't want anyone to be offended, hurt, upset. We're only looking at these things so we can get ourselves right. That's it. That's the only reason. There's no other reason. This is not to antagonize anybody. It's only for us to get right. Now, if you want to get right, then take a deep dive with me. If you want to get right, take a deep dive. If you don't want to get right, that's cool. That's cool. Let me see what else we got going on here. While I'm waiting for everybody to get in, see what we got going on here. Let's see what we got.
You want but can't adjust the facts. I never left the teachers, never adopted new philosophies. That's an act of European psychology.
Talk to
It's old time religion, truth don't change. Hypocrisy change, so I'ma remain. The people's grand shit.
You already know.
The people chose me. I'm the
Hey,
people's
family,
grand shit.
coming
The people
tomorrow,
chose me, so
Harlem,
that
New York,
can't speak.
Noble
I'm
Temple
the
number
people's
20.
grand shit. The people chose me.
Number 20. I can't talk to myself with the phone.
Me, you. I say, I understand. I'm a
Where was y'all in 1913? Where was y'all? This is way before Martin had a dream. Way before Elijah had fraud. We was in the grave, the land of the Nord. Where was y'all when he was on a milk crate? Going hard, a 35th state. Where was y'all when he only had the flag on Indiana Avenue? Bears on his head, hey. Where was y'all when the enemy tried to kill him? When they said he was a prophet, but still didn't kill him? When y'all let down, are you with me, are you down? Time to stand up, the prophecy is down, hey. The prophecy is down, hey. The prophecy is down, it's time to stand up. It's time to stand up, the prophecy is down, hey. Welcome. Welcome to the Moorish Science Temple of America, styled as the Noble Temples. And tonight, I am going to tackle a subject matter that many people would probably think I should leave alone. But I think that's been the problem. I think the problem is that we have left subject matters alone too long, and we have yet to address the raw, real truth of what this movement looked like and what it could look like. You follow what I'm saying? So let me put my phone here so I can see, just in case we have some questions. If anybody have any question, be sure to drop. In fact, that's what I'm gonna do first. I'm gonna look at the questions that somebody hit me with a few questions earlier, and I think somebody asked me what happened to the finance. Let me see if I can find that question real quick. I think it was somebody by the name of Durrell. And I'm gonna pull that question up. Let's get some questions real quick. Yeah. Um, let me see what more. Oh, okay, here we go. Now let's get some questions real quick because I think people consider me to be an authority on some stuff, which I'm only authority on which I can confirm. I'm not going to jump out the window and act like I know everything. I don't know everything. Now I can tell you what the evidence look like, but in this one I'm gonna tell you what the evidence look like. You know what I mean? Because there's no way in the world that I know everything, and I'm not going to sit up here in front and act like I know everything. But to this here, um, brother named Daryl, he asked, and I'm going to blow it up so everybody can see it. He said, or to say Lovell Wife had a literature on lock. So I think what he's saying here, I should have put up the previous comment, but I think what he's saying here is when we're talking about the oral statement, Love L dictated what would be presented to the public. And the ink would be commandeering what would be presented to the public. But in the final thing he says on the bottom, he says, more. There are two things I would like to know. What happened to the finance the Prophet Temples had? Where do Christina Price Bay come in? I'm not spelling her name correct. Okay. Now, let me tell you this. This is what the research says, and this is not what. Aline, please. Keep it down. I can hear you. This is what the research says, and this is not what I'm saying. So the research says this, that when the Prophet was on tour, Claude Green, the business manager, I said it once and I'll say it 1,000 times, the finances was taken by Claude Green. You know, in fact, I was literally just looking at, let me see if I kept it up. I was literally just looking at something about Claude Green and the finances. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Where it was talking about, because every time I do a lecture or a presentation like this, I try to keep it fresh. And so I literally go and see if I missed something. You know what I mean? But I was literally just reading something where it spoke to the fact that Claude Green had took the finances. And so that's my conclusion. My conclusion is when Claude Green chose to say that he was the head of the Moorish Science Temple of America, he also, whatever finances that he was managing for the Moorish Science Temple of America, whatever property he was managing, he was able to finagle all of that. You got to remember that most people thought that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was a pretty bright man, a pretty bright organizer, but most people didn't see him as a prophet. And it shows in their actions. And so Claude Green took that. And when he took that, he was able to some kind of way have all the property that was at 3140 Indiana Avenue, which he managed, have that sent to Temple Number 9. And while that was at Temple Number 9, I can only imagine where the finance went, you know. But it's a fact of the matter that there's letters that prove that all of the stuff was sent to Temple Number 9 from 3140. And then who becomes the head of Temple Number 9? Kirkman Bey. Like Kirkman Bey didn't even become the head of Temple Number 1. He became the head of Temple Number 9. Anybody in here listening to me right now? You know what I mean? Anybody in here listening to me right now? That's the fact of the matter. So where did the finance go? It went to Temple Number 9. That's where it went. With the Temple Number 9. And to never return. That's it. And then, you know, Kirkman Bey and those Moors that went with Kirkman Bey, I would imagine they used the finances to their best ability. That's it. I don't think it's much more to that.
You know what I mean? And I know people don't want to hear that, but that's the fact of the matter. Kirkman Bey went to temple number 9. The finances went to temple number 9. I'm not going to say the finance, but the resources went to temple number 9. And that is proven in letters. All right. So, in fact, let me see if I can find this to prove that one point real quick about Kirkman Bey in temple number 9, if I'm not mistaken. Anybody not familiar with that? I'm going to see if I can pull up something and prove that to you right quick. I got something right here before I get started. I'm almost sure I do. But let's see. I'm almost sure I got something that shows that he was head of temple number 9, without a doubt. If I can't find it, don't worry. I'll get it to you another time. I do my best. Let me see. I don't see it right now, but hey. What's this? Miss Kirkman Bey. Well, I wasn't planning to show this anyway, so don't trip. But let me tell you something, family. I got everything that one would imagine as it relates to tell this story. Yeah, I got a lot. I got a lot, family. I got a lot. I'm looking at some stuff now that's for a future presentation. But yeah, I do. I have a lot. Let me see. Isaac Cook Bey. I got some stuff on him. Oh, y'all ready? Oh, you look like y'all ready. All right, y'all ready. Is this it? Springfield, 1942. I think I showed something in the last presentation that maybe I need to do a whole Kirkman Bey presentation, and just show you how that transition happened. But yeah, I don't see it right now. But anyway, let's get started, fam. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with ain't nobody talking tonight. I see the chat is quiet. Is the chat quiet? Or is it me? Let me see. Is the chat quiet or is it me? Ain't nobody got nothing to say? I'm low? Oh, thank you. That's what I'm saying. See, y'all got to let me know. All right, how about now? Thank you so much, Night Bey. I had it down because the music was up. How am I sounding now, Night Bey? Let me know how I sound now. Let me know. Let me see, because I didn't see. I need to know how I sound now. All right, I'm good. Thank you. All right, so boom, here we go. Let's get it started. So family, this is not to attack anybody. I'm only talking about history that a lot of people are privy to. However, many people don't like to cover these topics, but I will. So let's get it straight to it. So, family, I'm of the thought that the oral statements became a thing by the way of J. Blakely Bey. Not saying that J. Blakely Bey was the one to commission it, but when you look at the history, even in his memorial, it says that Bro Blakely Bey was blessed with a good memory and often related to the Moors, the oral statements, and the prophecies of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. It was a great learning experience to hear the statements and prophecies of the Holy Prophet at conventions. Now, with that being said, for people who claim to be of the thought, let me move this out of the way. For people who claim to be of the thought that there was, whether you understand the deeper calamities of the split of the Moorish Science Temple of America or not, whether you understand that or not, for people to claim, listen, I'm not attacking the ink, this is history, for people to claim that the Moorish Science Temple of America or Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated seems to be suspect as it relates to the change of events about the Moorish Science Temple of America not being in the reflection of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, but then go right back and use the oral statements to try to qualify themselves, that don't make sense to me. Like, you cannot condemn something one way and then use what they produce to try to qualify yourself. I hope I'm coming across understanding. I hope you understand what I'm saying. You can't 1 minute say the ink did this, the ink did that, but then you say the prophet said you can have 2 wives. And then where did you get that from, though? You got it from the ink. Where did you get it from? They said. That's where you got it from. So that to me, that's just that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That's good, because it's going to take you off the path of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Prophets say my footprints are clearly cut. And if you cannot verify the prophet's statements, I'm telling you, you be careful. Let's look at some of these old statements right here. In these old statements right here, there's over 267 old statements. And some of them, hold up, let me blow this up. This is not good research for Moors that have been given the banana in the tailpipe. This is not good research. Look at this. The prophet said, hold me up and I will draw all men unto you. Now, that's a great saying. Don't get it twisted. But when did the prophet say it? Who said that the prophet said it? And where did the prophet say it? Not saying that's not a good saying. From a researcher's point of view, this is not sound, because there's no way you can reference it. The Holy Prophet said they will take this movement down so low it will disappear from the earth, from the face of the earth. Yet the prophets say that this is an everlasting movement. And then in another prophecy, it says that you tore up everything that was brought to you, but you can't tear this up. Family, press 7 if you understand. Is that a contradiction, or is it me? Is that a contradiction, or is it me? If the prophet says they will take this movement so low it would disappear. Hold up, let me find the other prophecy now. All right. Let me find the other prophecy now. All right. Now, look. Then it says it would disappear. And then it says, let me pull this up. He said it would disappear, right? And then in 44, in quote 44, it says, quote 44, it says, you tore up everything that was brought to you, but I brought you something you can't tear up. It will tear you up. Like, which one is it? Is it going to disappear, or is it going to tear us up? Is it going to disappear, or is it going to tear us up? The point that I'm making with this, these are not harmless quotes. These are quotes that was used to direct people in a direction that someone that was using the quote to direct people, if you will. In other words, today we're far removed when somebody used this quote to try to move someone in a certain direction. So our context could be a little off. So in order to understand these quotes, we have to compare them against each other or compare them against the prophet. Do you understand what I'm saying? We have to confirm, just like the prophet say in the Sunday class, the teacher must confirm himself through the questionnaire. The teacher must confirm himself through the questionnaire. So you have to confirm these things. Am I making any sense? Hopefully I'm making sense. You have to confirm these things. Right? Now, let's look at a few more. And I'm just freestyling looking at these now. Let's look at a few more. And I didn't even know that was going to happen. I just know how contradictory these are. I mean, let's just I'm going to grab a random one. Foster Bay. So we got a name here. Foster Bay of Temple 425 and Bro Davis Bay, past Grand Governor of Michigan, heard the Holy Prophet ask the Moors in Detroit, Michigan, how would you like to have your own mayor and chief of police? And the Moors said yes. In the same city that he asked that they were blessed to have an Asiatic mayor and chief of police. Now, does that make sense? That sort of makes sense because why? The Prophet Noble Drew Ali participated in politics. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali influenced the Moors to participate in politics. And the Prophet Noble Drew Ali even asked would they like their own town. In the paper, we can confirm about the Moorish village, if you will. So that one, harmless. But the thing is, using this to try to teach and not knowing which is sustained and which is need to be thrown out, I don't use any of them to teach personally. I mean, let's try this one. J. Foster Bay said, the prophet said, people left the Garden of Eden and died by the thousands, but it was the Moors that were able to traverse the desert, go into other parts of the world to inhabit. Now, for me, I'm like, okay, what is the point of this statement? I don't see the point in the statement, but I wasn't there for context. So, and I'm just freestyling here, and I'm just saying, you can use these statements to direct people in any direction you want to take them if you want to. I mean, you can remix this stuff all the time. That's why I don't use them. I use the Quran, Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, and the questionnaire to show myself approved. Now, so let's get over here. This is how we begin to get things like people defining Tag Day. The same one that commissioned the oral statements, R. Love L., he commissioned the oral statements, right? So if you claim again that you think something is out of order with the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated, but you steady quoting let me get this real quick. But you're steady quoting these that was put together by the same people that you say was compromised. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it makes sense to you, but it don't make sense to me. Give me 1 second. Let me get this real quick. That doesn't make sense to me at all. That one would sit there and quote this. Let me show you something. This is our Love L right here. 1 second. Let me paste it real quick. This is our Love L right here. All right. I'm about to pick up the pace. But I just want to show you how some of this stuff came into the Moorish dialogue. Listen to this. The first Tag Day was celebrated in March 1929. March 17th, as we know, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was locked up. It was an affair started by Sisters Auxiliary of Temple Number 1. Along with sales of tags, a box was left in each temple where the Moors may drop money in it for 1 week. And this money was to make a gift to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali after he returned from tour that he was on during that time. Here is the problem. Prophet Noble Drew Ali supposedly got locked up a day after Claude Green was slain. That is March the 16th. That is March the 16th. Don't make sense. But hey, hold up. This day was started as a fundraising day. And in 1929, the tags were sold for 10 cents. In later days, some of the Moors celebrated this day in remembrance. Here go the switch up. Some of these in remembrance of the Moors who was driven out of and lost their ruling power in Ireland. The Moors of America in these modern days remember those Moors of Ireland. This is not by the prophet. Listen what it says. In later days, some Moors celebrated this day. This has nothing, I mean, you can celebrate whatever you want, but we celebrating something but Ireland? This has nothing to do with the prophet. The oral statements was introduced in 1971. Put it in the chat for me. They was produced in 1971 for the first time. And then they was there was a revision. I think I got that in my slide. All right. Put that in there. 1971. Okay. So Moors created this, and they be attributing these things to the prophet, but Allah, he clears it up. He says, Moors later years celebrated this. But listen, in later years, some of the Moors celebrated this day in remembrance of the Moors who was driven out of and lost their ruling power in Ireland. The Moors in America in these modern days remember these Moors of Ireland, but with a great teaching of Allah's last prophet, something. We love instead of hate. There is no hatred whatsoever in laws and evolved in remembrance of those events. But what does one have to do with passing out tags and raising money? It's just me. I'm just a critical thinker, and I need to know these answers. The Moors ruled the British Isles for 500 years after the rule of the Romans and prior to the rule of the Normans in 1066. The Moors ruled other lands, but the loss of the ruling power is nothing to feel ill about. It is better to rule oneself than to rule another. It is better to conquer the lower self than to conquer another. Now, I got to be honest. This just seemed like a mumbo jumbo freestyle to me. It does. Remember in the beginning, this was about raising money for the prophet while the prophet was in jail. Then later on, Moors seemed to want to celebrate the people in Ireland. Our prophet teaches us truth don't change or pass away. So what are we doing? What are we doing? This is not the prophet demonstrating this. The Moors ruled the other lands, but lost. And I'm not saying that there's something detrimentally wrong with this, but Moors be celebrating this stuff as if Prophet Noble Ali instigated this and brought this forth. No. It is better to rule oneself than to rule. Yes, we are trying to learn to love instead of hate. The only savior of the world is love, and the only thing that will make us one is Allah, love. Bro, all love L. Now listen, family. I know we want to get all mushy about that term love and all of that. But come on now. This is not making sense as it relates to the initial purpose of Tag Day and the development of Tag Day to coincide with St. Patrick's Day, and the prophet was locked up when it was initiated. That's why I don't deal with he say, she say when it comes to the prophet. I deal straight with the prophet. Here's another story that went crazy. That Moors, if you want to know the origin of these stories, all of these stories literally come from, when you look at, let me say this, when you look at the Moor Science Temple of America Incorporated, if you will, and you look at all of those people like Taj Tariq Bey, these stories didn't just pop up on their own. You know what I mean? Taj Tariq Bey didn't make up all of these stories. You know what I mean? These stories predate Taj Tariq Bey. Here is one of the stories here. During his international travels as a merchant seaman, young Timothy heard a voice speak to him with authority, yet with stillness and peace. Go, where you go, I go. I am with you. Now here we go with the Christian. Here we go with the Christian stuff. These are biblical reference type stories here. Here we go. People needed a new Jesus. And people seen the Prophet Noble Drew Ali as a new Jesus. And so he is Jesus come again. And so now they got to create a story around it. But these stories cannot be verified. They're fictitious. We're not that far removed from Prophet Noble Drew Ali. But when one can control the narrative of your religion, your spirituality, they can control you. So here is the narrative. With his heart guiding him, he boarded a ship to the Mediterranean Sea. By the age of 15 or 16, what? Timothy Drew was in Africa, Egypt, where his divine destiny is to unfold as American lotus unfold on the Nile. Here he will live and be instructed, prepared divinely in due time by Allah. He was recognized by the Adapt Mastermind, a guru, by an Adapt Mastermind, a guru, who said to have been from Punjab, India. This is what we doing. This is what we doing. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali can't be just divinely prepared and sent to this earth. As in the Quran, it speaks of. That's just a little, let me see. That's just a little too simple. You know what I mean? What did the prophet say? Study the Quran as handed down unto you. Why? Because when you study the Quran, you're going to see the story that you should be paying attention to. What he said. In these modern days, okay. Let me spread it out for you. Yeah, let me spread it out for you. Oh yeah, I want it to be real easy for you to comprehend this. You know what I mean? Real easy for you to comprehend this. Because people make this stuff up. People that control your story, they can control you. Europeans, Asiatic alike. Whoever control your story, they control you. In these modern days, they came a forerunner of Jesus. Forerunner of the prophet. I don't know, I might got a wrong copy. Who was divinely prepared by the great God of law. His name is Marcus Garvey. Let me go on down. Who is to bring the true and divine creed of Islam, and his name is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth. Being prepared and sent to this earth is just a little bit too far-fetched. It's just a little too far-fetched to believe that babies just can wake up and come out of the womb and open their eyes and know how to suckle on a breast. I mean, they was divinely prepared to do that. They was divinely prepared to do that. They came that with their DNA. The prophet teach us that many cycles, you know what I mean, that we got to go through and develop. You know what I mean? And we judge time by cycle age in order to develop. But that's too far-fetched to understand that we come here with a knowledge. That man must have the light to receive the light. In other words, although there's things that people do and experiences that they have to bring it out of them, many recognize the idea that we must have the light to receive the light. We come here with a knowledge that just has to be cultivated. You feel me? But you want to try to say that the prophet, our prophet is a prophet of Allah, our prophet is an angel of Allah. And you mean tell me with those two titles, where the angel held its ether plane with Allah, according to the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, even according to the Holy Quran of Mecca. And the prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in flesh, Angels are thought of Allah manifested in human life. He's a prophet and an angel. But he can't come with knowledge to service our condition. We just too far gone. We just too far gone. Anyway, let me move on. So yeah, they got to make up this story real quick. Let me finish the story. It says he was taught by the Adapts in Punjab. We like to know his name so we can really break this down. Anyway, it says, oh, let me make it bigger for you. Let me bring it back up bigger for you, because you need to see this if you're on your phone. I want you to see this, because these are the stories that we have been bamboozled with. He was recognized by the Adapt mastermind, a guru who was said to have been from Punjab, India. Young Timothy was taken into the Great Pyramid of Khufu with eyes bound and was released to find his way out unassisted or die. They say at dawn he appeared. Who is they? They say at dawn he appeared from the sand in between the paws of Haru Sphinx. After about 10 years of applied adapt sciences, family, this is why I did the lecture. This is why I did the lecture. The missing years of Drew Ali, because these 10 years are accounted for. This was the purpose of me doing the lecture. But hey, here it is. After about 10 years of applied adapt sciences, he became the light of Moorish science. He was titled by the adapt masterminds, Angel, a prophet of Allah. Who is this adapt and mastermind? Fam, these are the stories that they made up. They made this stuff up. All right. After graduating all of his degrees, young Timothy was received in the holy city of Mecca as a Muslim. One of the highest degrees the chief protectors of the creed of Islam could give. Timothy Drew was exalted and given his holy name while in the holy city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia. El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, and Hajj was in Mecca. Also known as Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali. El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali at this time traveled. It is also reported around 1911 and 1912 with this exalted authority, he met and made alliances of Sultan Abdul Aziz Abdul Saud. Saud of the holy city of Mecca. So, come on, man. You see what I'm talking about? Now, many people say, well, who made that up? You know what I mean? Well, who made this up? Many people say that. Who made this up? Family, you know, the first time that I hear this is in this fashion.
And I sent for the branch and the chairman so that they could hear it. Is something that that's come to my attention recently, and that I wanted to pass it on because you may be confronted with it, and that's this. Now, sometimes our people think that our prophet is not known in other lands or not known by other people, whereas Noble Drawley is known throughout the world. Noble Drawley is known in other countries, and other people know that we have a prophet here. They know that our people are ignorant. I'm talking about the unconscious Asiatic, not the Moorish Americans, but ignorant of the fact that there's a prophet born in this East and in this time. And our prophet is known in the East and also in Muslim countries. But the thing is, he's known there by another name. He's known as the Prophet Sharif Ali. The Prophet Sharif Ali, the word Sharif means noble. And he's known in these lands. And most recently, even yesterday, I received a call from a person who was a relative, who was used to be married to my niece, who's who's a Muslim, who told me in a meeting with Turks and Albanians, these here people told him that they know about, these people knew about the Moorish Sanctuary of America, told him about the Moorish Sanctuary of America, told him the history of the Moorish Sanctuary of America, told him who the prophet was, and told him that they know of him in that land, in those lands as the prophet Sharif Ali, then told him about the history of this organization with the successor after the prophet. And he wrote them down, and I confirmed, but they told him the same thing that we know, that the prophet came, and after his passing, Brother President Bay was the moderator afterwards, and then Brother F. Nelson Bay and Brother J. Blakely Bay.
Stop right there. Stop right there. You see how the narrative is created? He said they knew that after the prophet, it was C. Kirkman Bay, F. Nelson Bay, and J. Blakely Bay. Did you notice that? He who controls your history, controls the story, controls your religion, and control you emotionally. You see how that one was punched in? You see that? Hold up. I want to really let you hear this so much clearer. So let me try something real quick. Hopefully I don't jam anything up. Press 7 if you just heard this is the point why I want to do this presentation tonight. I want to show you that he who controls the story ultimately controls you and your thinking. This is why the prophet said his footprints are clearly cut. Pay attention to the prophet. All these stories, leave them alone. I'm saying, leave the stories alone. I mean, give me a second. I'm gonna get it so you can see it straight up. I mean, they make these stories up so they can control people. And then notice, this is the problem. And people can get mad, but this is the problem. It wouldn't have been so bad if he would have kind of slipped Emiliel in there. Not because Emiliel have some place in my heart, but because that's just the fact of the matter. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. So, hold up. So I'm gonna try to take the beat off of it real quick, and give it to you.
And I sent for.
Okay, there we go. Now let me give it to you without the because somebody did say that when I played this and uploaded. Let me give it to you without the beat. Y'all got time. Get y'all snacks together. We're gonna be here another 45 minutes. Get your snacks together.
And I sent for the grand sheet and the chairman so that they could hear. It's something that that's come to my attention recently, and that I wanted to pass it on because you may be confronted with it, and that's this. Now, sometimes our people think that our prophet is not known in other lands or not known by other people, whereas Noble Drawley is known throughout the world. Noble Drawley is known in other countries, and other people know that we have a prophet here. They know that our people are ignorant. I'm talking about unconscious Asiatic, not the Moorish American, but ignorant of the fact that there's a prophet born in this age and in this time. And our prophet is known in the East and also in Muslim countries. But the thing is, he's known there by another name. He's known as the prophet Sharif Ali. The prophet Sharif Ali, the word Sharif means noble. And he's known in these lands. And most recently, even yesterday, I received a call from a person who was a relative, a fellow who used to be married to my niece, who's a Muslim, who told me in a meeting with Turks and Albanians, these here people told him that they know about, these people knew about the Moorish Sanctuary of America.
Now, I want you to watch this. The whole objective of this story is very simple. Watch this.
Told him about the Moorish Sanctuary of America, told him the history of the Moorish Sanctuary of America, told him who the prophet was, and told him that they know of him in that land, in those lands, as the prophet Sharif Ali, and then told him about the history of this organization with the successor after the prophet. And he wrote them down, and I confirmed, but they told him the same thing that we know, that Topic came, and after his passing, Brother Kirkland Bay was the moderator afterwards, and then Brother F. Nelson Bay and Brother J. Blakely Bay. And these people, they know this in these foreign lands. And they told him about it, even telling him about some of the people who have led people astray. They're aware of it.
So if you want to know where Taj Tariq Bey now get that story from, if you want to know where Taj Tariq Bey, all of these, Khalifa Publishing, who else? What's the brother from Canada? All of those that call Prophet Noble Drew Ali Sharif, I mean, this is where they get it from. So all the people that talk about the ink, they repeat everything that was said. Cujo, all of them. This is where they get it from. This is where they get it from right here. When Taj Tariq Bey said the movement was infiltrated, but then they repeat everything that was said. That's where they get it from. They didn't get this from nowhere else. Right here. You follow me? That's it. So I know people probably. Yeah. That's it for right there. So that's another thing that we need to stop being so sensitive about. When one checks our information and the information don't check out, don't get mad at the one that checked out the information. Just correct the information. Don't that make sense? Just correct the information. Like, yeah, man. Like it could be your mama. You say, yeah, mama was on one. Man, Love L was on one on that one. I don't know why he did that, but yeah, that don't check out. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with just saying, yeah, man, Love L, man, I love him, but that don't check out. I mean, what's wrong with that? Like, for me, let me tell you something. Anybody that if I ever talk to anybody about any of the leaders of the Inc., one of the ones that I do admire is R. Love L. Why? Because he stood on what he believed in. He took people to court. He was fighting. He was really adamant about preserving that which he was a part of. And he would go to any length to preserve it. And you have to respect the person that is willing to go the distance for what they believe in. And R. Love L is one of those brothers. Even if you disagree with them, you don't have to agree with somebody to understand the standing strongness about him, if that's a thing, if that's a word. You know what I mean? He stood strong for what he believed in. He really did. It is what it is. But that. Now let's get to this. Are y'all ready? Let's get into. Yeah, he would have debated us. Now the ink don't have that back. Yeah, he stood strong even in his misinformation. He stood strong. You know what I mean? Even in the lie, he stood strong. You know what I mean? But let me get to this right here. All right, y'all ready? Here is why you need to not use the oral statements as a measure for you teaching Moorish science. Let's start right here. Again, I can't go through all of them because time don't permit. Bro, I. Cook Bay, Grand Governor of Illinois, Emeritus, told Brother R. Love L. GS of the MST of A, and Bro C. Tyson Bay, past chairman of the MST of A. We're talking about these are people of the Inc. About the time when the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and Bro C. Kirkman Bay went to the Pan American Conference in 1928. Pay attention to these dates. At that time, the Holy Prophet went there and represented the Moors, and there was an Indian chief representing the American Indians. The conference was in Havana, Cuba, and the nations of both North, South, and Central America were present. Secretary of State Hughes of the United States represented the United States at this conference. Okay, let's stop right there. Secretary of State Hughes. In fact, Secretary of State Hughes, let's read this real quick. Charles Evan Hughes served as Secretary of State from March 5th, 2021 to March 5th, 1921 to March 5th, 1925. Do anybody see something wrong with this? Anybody? Can anybody type in the chat? What is wrong with this? What's wrong with this picture? Charles Evan Hughes served as Secretary of State from March 5th, 1921 to March 5th, 1925. What's wrong with this picture? During the administration of President Warren Harding, he continued as secretary after Harding's death in office, but resigned at the beginning of President Calvin Coolidge's full term. What's wrong with this picture? Maybe I got to rewind it for you. The conference was in Havana, Cuba, and the nations of the both North, South, and Central America was present. Secretary of State Hughes of the United States represented the United States in the conference. The conference was in 1928. The Secretary of State in 1928 was Robert Lansing. Robert Lansing was an American lawyer and diplomat who served as the 42nd United States Secretary of State under President Woodrow Wilson from 1915 to 1920 as a counselor. Hold up. Is that right? Hold up. I'm sorry. I got the wrong one. Not Lansing. It was Kellogg. I'm sorry. I was looking at Lansing to make another point. It was Kellogg. I'm sorry. There you go. Kellogg was the Secretary of State in 1925, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Kellogg. Why get mad at me? Why get mad at me? Because this says that, come on. Anyway, let me read on. C. Kirkman Bey was the interpreter for the Holy Prophet at this conference. Bro Akuk Bey said when the Prophet and C. Kirkman Bey got off the ship and tied at the dock, the Cuban army was standing on the deck. Here we go with the dramatics. The Cuban army was standing on the deck, and Bro Kirkman Bey said something to them in Spanish, and the army came to attention. Then he and the Holy Prophet came down the ship. At the conference, Bro C. Kirkman Bey addressed the conference in both Spanish and Arabic. Family, we have looked for years. I know myself. I know the Allende L brothers, and many other Moors that love research have looked for years. There is no minutes where they address the people there. Shout out to Brother Hogan Bey, Islam, brother. There is no, listen, these meetings had minutes to it. And everyone who spoke at these conferences was written down. Everyone. Every single one. I actually have the minutes. I'm not going to go over it right now because, those minutes are long. But I'm just telling you, there is no Prophet Noble Drew Ali addressing. There is no Kirkman Bey addressing. There is no addressing. Then they go on to say at the conference, Bro C. Kirkman Bey addressed the conference in both Spanish. See, what I'm trying to tell you, what are they doing to Kirkman Bey right now with this story? What are they doing? They making him mythological next to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Listen to the words. At the conference, Bro C. Kirkman Bey addressed the conference in both Spanish and Arabic. And when the Secretary of State of the United States heard Bro Kirkman Bey speak, he said, that's a dangerous man. So for the audience that would be listening to this story being narrated, it kind of compounds their confidence in Kirkman Bey. It compounds their confidence. And so now they will go to war about something that probably didn't even happen. because they feel as though that this story is real. This story is true. This story validates his position and leadership. Up to that period of time, the United States received a 50-year mandate for this land. At the conference, the mandate for this land was given to the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Bro Cook Bey, G.S. Emeritus of Temple 1, said Prophet Noble Drew Ali showed us the mandate in the adapt chamber. Now, here we go. What is this mandate? We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's get to this number. Here is another one. Oral statement number 32. The Holy Prophet told the Moors that Chicago is doomed and Detroit must go down for what it has done to I, your prophet. All right, we know the history. We'll get back to this one in a minute. But I wanted to do that one. It's a reason I wanted to do this. Hold up. I'll get back to that in a minute. Let me see what this one. Let's try this one. It says, talking about that 50-year mandate. It says that, listen to this, fam. I got to bring this up right here. This I kind of mixed it up real quick, but let me bring it back up to you. All right. Listen to this. I want you to pay close attention to this last line right here. All right, pay close attention to this last reading right here. It says, oh, I'm sorry. Let me spread it so y'all can see it. Let me get my big head out the way. I'm sorry. I'm tripping. I got y'all. I got these screen shares so y'all can see it, and you can't even see it. My bad. All right. So look, I want you to pay close attention to this. Pay close attention to this. It says that this is a dangerous man. Up to that period of time, the United States received a 50-year mandate for this land. All right? A 50-year mandate for this land. Forget what the 50-year mandate is, but look at this next line. Look at this next one. Bro, I Cook Bey, Grand Governor, Emeritus of Illinois, said that the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali told the Moors that the Europeans went to Moroccan government and asked for permission to come over here, the United States, to develop the land, and they were given a 50-year mandate to do so. Okay, hold up. When did this happen? When did the Europeans go to Morocco and get this mandate? Because if it's when they landed at the Mayflower, that 50 years been expired. It been expired. If it was, I don't know when it was, when they received this mandate, when they went to the Moroccan government. However, look at the other line right here. It says, when the secretary, that's a dangerous man. Up to that period of time, the United States received a 50-year mandate for this land. How long is this 50 years? Because this is 1928. These numbers don't add up. At this conference, the mandate was given to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I'm confused. What do you mean? When did this 50-year mandate was given by the Moroccan government? And this is where you have the sovereign citizen Moors talking about Morocco gave Europeans permission to inhabit this land. Man, let's keep it a stack. The Europeans robbed this land. Let's stop. With the press of 7, if you understand what I'm saying. Let's stop with this fake history. This is where the sovereign citizen Yankee Moors say that the European gave somebody permission. That the Moroccan government gave them permission. This is where it comes from. It comes from the oral statements. This is where it comes from. The Yankee Moors didn't make this up themselves. They didn't make this stuff up themselves. They got this from where? They didn't get this from somebody that was following Eliel or an alternative to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. They got this from a group that claimed that they were the original temple of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Let's be clear. They didn't get this from somewhere way off in the meadows where somebody was remixing. This came directly from those who say that they were the prophet's temple. We got to be clear on this one now. So now it makes sense why nobody checked the sovereign citizen Moors early in the early 90s. Why nobody would check Taj Tariq Bey. I always wondered that. I always was like, why nobody ever just stand up and say, brother, you wrong? Why all these years nobody never said nothing? Until I started doing the campaign and calling them the Taj Tariqites. I started doing the campaign against R.V. Bey. I started doing the campaign live and saying, man, this stuff don't make sense. But as I got older, I will begin to see, and I'm talking about just a few years, I begin to see, hold up, they the one that put this stuff out there. This stuff they put this out there. No one else put this out there. I was like, wow, that makes sense that no one would check him and address him because they either believed it or it did what they wanted it to do. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Either they believed it, I'm talking about those who manufactured this stuff, or it did exactly what they wanted it to do. And it spread like wildfire. And now I'm looked down upon because I'm saying, no, brother, no, sister. This is all made up. This is not true. This is fantasy. This is not true. No, these dates don't add up. These mandates don't add up. This stuff don't make sense. This stuff don't make sense. Let's do some thinking. If I can get you to think, you can save yourself. It doesn't make sense. Now, Prophet Noble Drew Ali says Chicago is doomed. I don't want to get to that one yet. Now, in one statement, and it says, in 32 it says, the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali told Moors. Now, this is not attributed to anybody. Chicago is doomed, and Detroit must go down for what it have done to I, your prophet. But then in 31, Sister M. Tiggs L relates, and other Moors reported that the Holy Prophet say Chicago, Illinois is going to be our new Mecca. Now hold up. Is it doomed or is it going to be our new Mecca? Hold up now. Come on, man. Is it me? Is it doomed or is it going to be our new Mecca? Which one? Because if it's going to be our new Mecca, we all going to be there. And if it's doomed, man, we all doomed. Come on, man. Stick to the Holy Quran of the Most High Temple of America, the divine constitution and bylaws and the questionnaire, man. And then you can be a good Moorish leader. Come on, man. The prophet told us, Prophet Noble Drew Ali ain't trying to set us up, is he? It's going to be your new Mecca. All right, get up in there. Boom, now you're doomed. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. I'm sorry, man. This is hilarious to me that we fell for this stuff. Go ahead. Chicago gonna be your new Mecca. Come on, Moors. Come on in Chicago. Boom, you all doomed. Come on, man. Don't the Holy Prophet do that, man. Stop it, man. Chicago is going to be as profitable, as influential as the people there decide to move on the spirit of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Chicago will be fine. Chicago will be fine. The divine prophet chose Chicago for a reason, and Chicago will be fine. There's some beautiful, faithful Moors in Chicago that will make sure that Chicago be fine. Don't worry about it. But this here, boom, you're doomed. All right. Now, in number 66, let's go in this one. It says, the prophet asked Moors, this is not attributed to anybody, how many of you can do something? He was inquiring as to how many of them could work magic, etc. Some of the Moors stood up. The prophet pointed his finger at them and said, I am going to kill you all. What? When the prophet speaks, that is the message of Allah. The prophet Muhammad said the sorcerer would not enter paradise. What is this one all about? I can imagine people don't want you to tap into your latent powers. All of us have the power of the divine within us, and it's our birthright. It's our vast estate that the prophet talks about in creation and the fall of man. The omnipotence of man and Allah. Go forth and teach the omnipotence of man and law. But it says, this person says that it's called a magic. I mean, it's called magic. And then the prophet said, I'm going to kill you. But in our Quran, of the Most Science Temple of America, it reads, Now men and birds and beasts and creeping things are deities made flesh. How dare you kill anything? It is cruelty that makes the world awry. When men have learned that when they harm a living thing, they harm themselves, they surely will not kill. Hold up. Is this the same prophet that says we need to have religious tolerance? Is this the same prophet? But what it is people do not want you to tap into your divine. They don't want you to tap into your divine. They don't want you to tap into when the prophet Noble Drew Ali says Allah and man are omnipotent. That Allah and man is one. So above, so below. They don't want you to tap into that, because once you tap into that, you can discover them more plainly. Remember the prophet said, when you don't see yourself, others discover you more plainly. They don't see you, they discover you because you're hiding, but now they can discover you. And when you tap into that omnipotent power that's within you, that is your vast estate, man will obtain that vast estate once again. When you tap into that, you can discover them. Not see them, discover them. That's what they be scared of. Anyway. Here is one right here. Here's one for the books. Grand National Secretary said the Holy Prophet said, I didn't want to tell anyone where I was born or who my parents were, because I didn't want people to make a shrine of the place or make over my parents like was done with Joseph and Mary. Now, we can stop right there. Now, the parent thing, boom, people can sell that one. And I know where this one was going to. But the prophet said, where was Noble Drew Ali born? He used the term born. He actually uses the term born. Where was he born? Where was he born? He actually used the term born. So the parent thing, I'm going to tell you what I feel about the parent thing. No one questioned the prophet, or no one got close enough to have those intimate conversations with the prophet. And people most likely was asking Where was the prophet born? Where was the prophet born? Where was the prophet born? And they didn't have an answer. Although it's right in their questionnaire, they didn't have an answer. So they said, we're going to make this one up. They just didn't have an answer. That's all. They just didn't have an answer. And remember, these were made in the 70s, 71. So during that period of time, these leaders, they lacked the information, and much of what was passed down, unfortunately, was misinformation. And so they just winged it. They just winged it. That's all. This is a great wing job. I'm sorry about that. I ain't mean that. Don't worry about that word right there. Anyway, now let's get into this demonstration here. She was the Grand Sheikess of Temple number 9. This is Sister Whitehead L, Dove L, or Lovett L. Lovett Bay. I think it's Lovett Bay. She said that one cold night that she and C. Kirkman Bey, that she took C. Kirkman Bey to the Holy Prophet's office. Let me make sure y'all can see this. That she took C. Kirkman Bey to the Holy Prophet's office, where she said, Brother Prophet, this is the brother that I was talking about. She said, I thought that I was introducing him to the prophet, but they already knew each other because they had went to school together. Wait a minute. What school did they go together? They never name it. She said the Holy Prophet asked Bro C. Kirkman Bey. Remember, she said, this is temple number 9, where Kirkman Bey would be entered into the Moorish Science Temple of America, align himself with Claude Green, and then the overthrow of the prophet and the movement comes through Claude Green, temple number 9, Lomax Bay, and a few others. So we have to remember that part of the history. So when we hear these stories, we like, hold up, what is this story is all about? But here we go. And we can only suspect, you know what I mean? We don't speculate at this point what was the driving force behind these stories, but we know that these stories was instrumental of gaining confidence of people. You know what I'm saying? Because they had went to school together. There we go with that piece to gain confidence. She said that the Holy Prophet asked C. Kirkman Bey, can you speak High German? Bro C. Kirkman Bey said, yes, I am a little rusty, but I'm a little rusty. She said that the Holy Prophet reached into the trunk, pulled out a book, dusted it off with a feather. Hold up. Everything that we read about Prophet Noble Drew Ali, we talk about going to our ancient forefathers and foremothers, honor our forefathers and foremothers. Even in one of these renditions, it says, for of all languages that you need to learn Spanish. And the prophet asked him to read German, High German. Hey, okay, no problem, no harm, no foul. I just thought that was a thought. But let me finish. He took a feather, he dusted it off, handed it to Bro Kirkman Bey, and he read from it. The Holy Prophet was satisfied and told him that he had to go down to Cuba, and he wanted him to go with him. Now, hold up. If he wants him to go to Cuba with him, and the native tongue of Cuba is Spanish, why would he test him with High German? I'm just saying. Why would he test him with High German? I don't know. But hey, no harm, no foul. No harm, no foul. Let's go. And he read from it. The Holy Prophet was satisfied and said to him, I want you to go down to Cuba. And he wanted to go with him. Bro C. Kirkman Bey told the prophet that he had a wife and a child or children. Which is it? Wife or child or children? And I could get into this detail, but I'm not going to do it. The Holy Prophet let him know that they would be provided for. The Holy Prophet then took C. Kirkman Bey to the Pan-African Conference in Cuba. Let me explain something to you. I really believe that this story about C. Kirkman Bey is a true, partially true and partially embellishments. The reason why I say that is because Prophet Noble Drew Ali traveled with quite a few people. You know what I mean? Kirkman Bey went with him. I get it. But one thing you need to explain to me is, what school did Kirkman Bey attend with the Prophet? I mean, what school did he attend with the Prophet? That's one thing I need to know. And this is one of the articles that was on the website that I want to share. It reads as follows. It says, see if I can bring it down for you. Brother C. Kirkman Bey reestablished and established many factions of the movement as the Prophet knew he would. Why would Kirkman Bey have to reestablish if he was given the authority from 1929? That means that there is no break in the movement. There's no need to reestablish. If you claim, as the video mentioned earlier, that that it went from Prophet Noble Drew Ali, C. Kirkman Bey, F. Nelson Bey, J. Blakely Bey. Hold up. Do I need to bring it back up? Do I need to bring it back up? Let me see it. Let me bring it back up, because obviously somebody didn't forgot. Do I need to bring it back up? Let me bring it back up just for the sake.
And I sent for the grandson and the chairman so that you can hear. It's something
Yes,
that
sir.
that's come to my attention recently.
I got about 30 minutes.
And that
30
I wanted
minutes.
to
Stick with
pass
me.
it
Come back
on
tomorrow if you
because
don't get it.
you may be confronted with it, and that's this.
Okay, hold up.
And the same thing that we know, that Prophet came, and after his passing, Brother Kirkman Bey was the moderator afterwards.
After the Prophet passing, Brother Kirkman Bey was the moderator. So why would he have to reestablish anything? Anyway, the story goes, Kirkman Bey reestablished and established many fractions of the movement as the Prophet knew he would. He was a great teacher with tremendous insight and patience. He graduated from 2 colleges. What colleges? Now, remember, this is on their official website at one point. I'm sorry. This is on their official website at one point. This is not Tahaka Bey making this up. No, I can't get mad because I want to know what schools. This is on their official website. This is not Tahaka Bey. It says, he have studied in the same school. He graduated from 2 colleges and is said to have studied from the same school that the Prophet had. What school? He was a highly skilled adept of special spiritual qualities. Everyone knows that Kirkman Bey was never made an adept during the time of the Prophet. So what does that mean? Education was a major factor, and he addressed the issues placing teachers in the temples. No, they were already done during the time of the Prophet, but hey, I get it. He told us to search out meanings for ourselves because our gifts or understandings are the treasures of Allah. No, that's what the Prophet said. And everyone has his own portion. Oh, my goodness. He said if you learn one question, one verse, or one chapter, mastered it. He reestablished the Moorish Manufacturing Corporation. Why would you have to reestablish that? These are the questions that need to be asked. There's no need to reestablish something if there is no broken. The Moorish God with the help of the Grand Body. He also reestablished Moorish National Sisters Auxiliary. He would surprise the sisters with his culinary skills. Let me stop right there. This is what I'm talking about. This is what people get mad about because these things are now being questioned as like, hold up, this don't sound right. This don't sound right. I mean, let's get into this. That's the 50-year mandate. The United States received a 50-year mandate from the government. At this conference, the mandate land was given to the Prophet. So 1928 to 1978. what does that actually mean? We need to know what that means. 50 years was up in 1978. What does that mean? People be saying these things, but now the question is, what does a 50-year mandate mean? Because 78 then came and gone. That's okay. Let me go back up here. All right, family, I'm walking the dogs home now. Here we go. Stick around for a few more minutes. Sister A. Brown L. What is this here? Sister A. Brown L. Oh, no, I got this right here. All right. Let me do this one first. Bro, I Cook Bay of Illinois says that the Holy Prophet says, I got 2 wives. One day you will be able to have 2, or as many as you can afford. Now, this is a topic that I've been addressing for quite some time now. But you don't hear this stuff until the 70s. You follow what I'm saying? And when you look deeper, you will find that Kirkman Bey had a few wives. And don't make me pull the receipts right now because I don't feel like looking for it. You follow me? But Kirkman Bey had a few wives. Have you ever noticed that no one tells a true, precise history of Kirkman Bey, but it's easy to find? You ever notice that? Anybody? Kirkman Bey got a very large family. Large family. Nobody talk about it. That's a story for another time. Now, Cook Bay says that the prophet said, I have 2 wives. One day you will be able to have 2, as many of you can afford. And again, I've already addressed that. The prophet Obadiah Ali had 1 wife. And the record records, take unto thyself, a wife, and obey the orders of Allah. Take unto thyself a wife, and become a faithful member of society. Go down to verse 4. But when thou find sensibility of heart, joined with the softness of manners and accomplished mind, a form agreeable to thy fancy, take her to thy house. She is worthy to be thy friend, the companion of life, the wife of thy bosom. Marriage instructions for man and wife. And wife. Remember, thou art man's reasonable companion. Hold up, let me pull this up. Remember, thou art man's reasonable companion, not the slave of his passion. The end of thy being is not merely to gratify his loose desire. This is from the holy instruction for man and wife. Last but not least, and we know that the divine constitution and bylaws says wife, singular. Husband, singular. All right. Now let's get to this last one and knock this one out the park. And we can go on forever, but hey, we'll be all night with all this misinformation. So listen, the Holy Prophet told Sister A. Brownell of Temple Number 4 and 25, said that sister asked the Holy Prophet, should we eat pork? Listen to this. Should we eat pork? The Holy Prophet told her, sister, you was raised on it. Eat anything that won't hurt you. Bro Slade Bay of Temple 7 said someone in Cleveland, Ohio, asked the Holy Prophet, should we eat pork? He said, if I went to someone's home that was all they had to eat, if I was hungry, I would eat it. And if I was not, I would not eat it. Now, what is that all about? Back in this time in the 40s and 50s, the Moore Science Temple of America Incorporated, They owned pig farms. Their members owned pig farms. They was eating swine and eating hogs. They even had distilleries. Oh, y'all don't think, do we need receipts on that? I don't want to drag. They know it's true. They had distilleries. They had alcohol distilleries. These were members. They had pig farms, and they would eat swine. So in order to justify eating swine, press 7 if you're still with me. In order to justify in eating swine, they seem to be attributors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And even till this day, there is a restaurant in the South called Shut Your Mouth that is owned and operated by a relative of F. Nelson Bey, and they sell swine to this day. If you look on the menu, and I'm not knocking them, I'm just saying I'm just a Muslim. Bacon, eggs, and cheese. Bacon, sausage, egg, and cheese. Ham, egg, and cheese. Pork chop breakfast. You understand what I'm saying? So people would justify, I mean, you can eat whatever you want. This is a relative of Nelson Bey. J. Blakely Bey, F. Nelson Bey, yeah. Pork chops. You see? Yeah, they sell that right to this day. Right to this day. So when we look at these oral statements, I've been saying for a long time, they use the oral statements to justify behaviors that is pretty much unacceptable, if you will, as a Muslim. I'm not knocking anybody's personal choices. I'm just saying, in comparison to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, this is unacceptable. You feel what I'm saying? Pig feet dinner. You can go there, get yourself a pig feet dinner tomorrow night. Sold by Moorish Americans. You can get a pig feet dinner for $13.95 tomorrow night. You can get some smothered pork chop dinner. That's right. You can get one chop, $12.95, two chops, $16.95. Now, this is descendant of one of the Supreme Grand Advisors and moderators. This is not funny. I mean, no. I put it on the Prophet. This ain't funny. I'm just trying to teach about the oral statements, why the oral statements came about. The oral statements came about to justify behaviors that was unacceptable. And some truth is implemented in there because you got to have the apples that are good to the sight, but full of bitterness and gall. You got to have some truth in there. The preacher even tell you some truth, but he ain't going to tell you the whole truth. You know what I mean? He ain't going to tell you the whole truth. I mean, so I'm just saying, man, you can't get mad at me. I guess you can, but I ask you not to get mad at me. I ask you to have an understanding heart because we just need to fix this. I mean, you get some baked fried chicken, hamburger gravy, or pork chop. They got some ribs for you too, family. They got some rib for you too. You see what I'm talking about? So what I'm saying, family, is...
Dad, one of the puppies got out.
Okay, I get it. Relax. Leave him alone. He good. I got him. So listen, at the end of the day, family, I'm not trying to ridicule nobody. This stuff is public information. It is what it is. And I'm just saying, man, if we want to get this right, then we got to just get it right. We need to stop playing and get it right. You know what I mean? We got to stop playing and get it right. Period, point blank. You feel me? Thank you for joining me, family.
Try.
Thank you for joining me.
Cut you to ribbons. That's what this
Somebody got to say it.
This killer.
If we want to get it right.
Falsehood killer. Gazini.
Hold up.
That's what this swordsman. Try. Okay? I will cut you to ribbons. That's what this swordsman. This killer.
Don't make me...
Falsehood killer. Gazinin. Zalimin. Mujrikin.
Don't make me take this fast off. Allah knows, cause I will take some heads off. You all foes. Lower up my muffly, keep a banger that'll sink the lowest.
Stop playing with me. I'm the true and living God, but I know the lower little better than you little frauds. Trying to keep it on a high note. I really love my bro, but I can go lower than a worm. No lamo. See y'all let the evil social media gas you thumb thugging. Thinking when I see you I'ma pass you. Oh nah, we gon' talk about it, acting like you about it. Guarantee you when I see you we gon' put some chalk around it. Talking like a big boy, this fans won't save you. Cause I will take this fans off and ask you who made you. You better say Allah when you look me in my eyes. You see the image of Allah. Don't be looking surprised. I'm the God in the flesh. Of course I'm fresh. I resurrect and protect. I don't believe he left. I breathe Jesus' breath.
Yes, indeed, family.
We come correct like a check when the G's connect.
Huh?
Disrespect, trying to get a rep. I'm coming for your back.
The biggest event of the year comes to Detroit, Michigan. The usurping of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Lecture by Tahaka Bey, the People's Grand Chief. If you ever wonder why the Moorish Science Temple of America has not been on the forefront of civics, has not been on the forefront of liberation, then this lecture is for you. The usurping of the Moorish Science Temple of America. This lecture is about the overthrow of the Supreme Grand Council, the Grand Body, and the Grand Sheikh and Chairman. The very system that embodies the divine plan of the ages. The divine plan of the ages is the system that walk us from organization to nation. My objective now is to bring the people into the science that never heard of it before. Because you showed me those that think they know ain't ready to go. Sure. Your example